guys, welcome back to SaneTresses. So today I'll be showing you how I highlight and contour my face and showing you just how I did that little pop of color on my eyes today. Okay, so I'm starting off with the Decay Eyeshadow Primer. So it's a long-lasting eyeshadow base. So this was my first time using it, so I can't really say if I like it or not. Yeah. So I'm going in with my Too Faced Sweet Peach palette and in the shade Puree. So to be honest, this is just a slight wash of color on my lids, on my upper lid. I'm not doing anything dramatic, like, I mean, do I ever? So I'm going in with Summer Yum just to deepen it up, that color in my crease. So I'm going in with the Huda Beauty Desert Dust Eyeshadow Palette and I'm using the shade Saffron just to deepen up that color as well and just blowing it up. So because we're going to be using a pop of color, I just thought we'll let the rest of the eye have a natural eyelid color. Just going in with Nefertiti from the Huda Beauty palette just to bring light to the inner corner of my eyes. So I'm going in with the Huda Beauty Filtr foundation in the shade Toffee. So this one is very light, and I have the Fenty Beauty Pro Filtr foundation in the shade 380, which is also very dark. So I'm just mixing the two. And as you can see, I'm going in very lightly, because I know the Huda Beauty is a full coverage foundation and you have to use like a little at a time. So I'm just going in and building it up slowly until I get the coverage that I want. I also like to spray my setting spray as a prep spray. So as you can see, I'm going in again just on the areas that I have more discoloration and hyperpigmentation, just to make sure I've got a blank canvas. So I'm going in with the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer, and this is to brighten up the inner parts of my eyes. The bridge of my nose and on my chin. So I will use the Beauty Blender again just to blend in that concealer, and I like to make sure I go right into my inner corner eye so that I make sure that that part of my face is really, really bright. So to set my under eyes, I'm going in with the Laura Mercier Translucent Setting Powder, and yeah, it's not stuck white, it's kind of like a peachy undertone, so which is good even for women of color. So I've been using this NYX HD Studio Photogenic Concealer in the shade Deep Golden. This one is a darker concealer, and as you can see, when I place it onto my face, by the time I go in to buff it in, it's slightly darker, so I assume that it dries darker. So I'm just going in to create shadows on my face. So if you put foundation on your face, it normally gives you a blank canvas. But so the darker concealer or darker cream contour or whatever you'll be using to contour is just to create shadows so that they can be a contrast between the highlight and the contour. So as you can see, I try to buff it going upwards and never dragging it down. And also it's good to go underneath your chin area and your jawline just to get rid of the double chin if you have. So if you are someone who likes to contour your nose, you can go ahead and do so. If not, that's fine. So I like to go in and contour my nose just to create a very slimmer looking nose. So as you can see, the bridge of my nose is already highlighted, so I'm just creating a shadow around that highlighted area so that it stands out. So I've been using this Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless powder in the shade Toffee, and when I bought it I thought it was going to be like the same shade as my skin tone, but it turns out to be darker. So I've been using it to set the contoured areas, and also I'm using it just to set the rest of my face, because I noticed that it gives a very good base for the product that I'm going to use next. So next I'm going in with the NYX No Filter finishing powder in the shade Golden. So it's a yellowish banana shade, which is perfect to aid coverage and highlight the inner parts of my face. So as you can see, when I go in, it is really adding coverage onto what I already have. So I've been loving this method, and if I'm to use this straight on top of the Laura Mercier, I see that it creates it's too yellow, but then because I kind of have the darker Maybelline Fit Me Poreless powder underneath, it kind of, you know, gives a nice shade, if that makes sense. So that's what I've been doing, and I've been loving how it looks on camera and even in person outside in the sun. So it's really been working very well for me. I like to highlight on top of my eyebrows, the forehead area, the bridge of my nose again, and also reverse contouring just underneath the cheekbone. So every time I go under my cheekbone, I do different things all the time. Sometimes I just go in straight down, right facing my chin. Sometimes I go straight towards my mouth. Sometimes I curve it in. It just depends, to be honest. And now I'm just setting and just going in again, just setting the nose contour area. So it looks very harsh, I know, at the moment, but trust the process. It does, you know, come together at the end. So yeah, to be honest, when it comes to powders and setting your contour and stuff, it's a matter of just blending and blending, making sure you remove any harsh areas so that you don't have any harsh lines on your face. Loving to go in with Baked Blush from NYX, and yeah, it's broken, but yeah, it really brings in a little bit of color, which is great. So yeah, it's totally, like I was saying, it's just going in back and forth to make sure everything is perfect, you know, making sure you match all the areas. So now to the fun part. I'm going in with the INGLOT eyeshadow in the shade 415. So it's just a pop of color, a subtle pop of color, which is out of the ordinary for me, that is. So yeah, I was inspired by the Sally Hansen nail polish that I have, that I'm wearing, that's a bit blue, and obviously the towel that I have on my head, if that's not enough. So yeah, I'm just going in with that blue shade, just yeah, to give me that pop of color, and I like how it brightens up the eye look, and it brings out those white eyes. Loving it. So I'm going in with the same brush that I used for the eyeshadow on my eyes, just to create, you know, seamless everything. So I'm going in with Nefertiti again just to brighten the inner corners of my eyes and to kind of connect it with that part. What is a highlighting and contour video without the highlighter itself? So this is the Maybelline Master Chrome Metallic Highlighter in the shade Molten Gold. So this is good for an all over glow. As you can see, it's like a golden type of highlighter. So I'm just going in, tap, 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 the excess off and just going in. It's quite an intensive highlighter, I must say. It's the most intensive highlighter I own. So you make sure you have to buff it in and spread it nicely. Make sure you subscribe if you're new to my channel. If you like what I do, make sure you share and like and comment. I'd love to read your comments. So yeah guys, until next time, it's bye bye, God willing.